Okay, so we're going to do a quick comparison of Nick compared to Braden. The video for Braden here is after he's been working with our Gold Eyes player Nick. We got a lot of stuff straightened out with him, and he's probably pretty close to as good a delivery as you're going to get from even a major leaguer, except for how hard he throws and how he can still move a little faster down the mound. And we'll compare him to Nick and see if there's some stuff that Nick can work on. So I've got them at the same place. They're just about ready to lift their leg. So we'll get going here. Okay, so there Nick's got his leg right up. And there's Braden in the same spot. Let's see if I can get a line here. And a line there. And what we'll do is see how much they move their hips as they start breaking. So there's hand brake, and we see that Nick's hip hasn't really moved. Whereas there's Braden, and he's probably moved his hip a good 8 inches, I would think. Please also see how Nick is starting to lean forward. Let's just clear everything off here. See how Nick is just starting to bend at the waist, where Braden is kind of staying very upright. But other than that, the leg action is very good. They're very similar in their leg action. Let's get them stretched out here. Okay, so there's Nicholas just before he's going to touch down. And there's Braden about the same spot. Now they're both in really good positions. Braden, because he keeps his arm down a little bit longer, but that's fine. He's been doing that all the time. Nick is still in a good spot. And there's touchdown there. See how the arm is cocked. So he's ready to go. And there's Braden at touchdown. And his arm is kind of cocked, but not quite at the same angle. Let's go a little bit further. Now as they both start going forward, notice how Braden gets the extension going back, whereas Nick doesn't really get that arm laying down. And that's just going to create some of the whip that he's going to need to get a little more velocity. Again, let's clear those lines out. Let's go a little bit further. And here's Nick getting into just about letting the ball go. I don't know if I can get there with Braden or not. But the other thing I want to notice is see where the head is as opposed to this front knee. See how Braden has got his head over his knee, whereas Nick is way behind. It's almost like he stops. And there's Nick releasing the ball there, and his head is just above his knee. And then look where Braden's head is when he releases. He's way past there, and you see that Nick's head is still over here. So we got to get a little more bend in the body for Nick, and then let's just see how they finish here. He's got a good finish, nice flat back, leg up. And a good, it's a good finish there. There's nothing wrong with that. He's in a good fielding position. And Braden, the same thing. There's that flat back, leg up in the air. And again, a good finish. He's ready to field the ball. So let's get them back to a starting point here. And we'll run it at full motion. Okay, so there's... Okay, so they're both ready to lift their legs and go. And let's see how long it takes Nick and Braden to actually release the ball. Do it in slow motion. And we see Nick actually goes pretty fast. You know, Nick actually gets going good in his delivery. So the other thing I want to point out with Nick, that we have to work on is his back. Watch his foot that's against the rubber. Watch how it comes off the ground. And he's not really using it to push. Whereas if I can see Braden's here, you know, his stays on until he releases, where Nick's, you know, his is already off the ground and he's still got the ball in his hand, where Braden's still, you know, so that's the other thing. You know, so that's the other thing we got to work on there, is keeping that foot on the ground, and what that'll be able to do is help him drive through a little bit more and give him a little more stability when he lands. But other than that, you know, again, Nick's in really good shape. There's a few things to, you know, to work on, standing up a little bit straighter, but he's definitely stopped the leaning back that he had at the start. You know, he doesn't lean that head back behind the mound or behind the pitching rubber. So everything's good. I think, you know, just keep throwing, work on a couple of the small things, and he should be fine. And he's already throwing hard. He's probably got another 3-4 miles an hour in him, just with a couple of little tweaks. So that's about all I can see on that. Hope that helps you.